A Harvard Business Review study once revealed something striking. The majority of luxury fashion leaders were born into privilege, families with resources, connections, or ties to the fashion industry. But Ralph Lauren didn't fit that mold. He was an outlier. Ralph Lifshitz was born on October 14th, 1939, in the Bronx, the youngest of 4 children. His parents were Jewish immigrants from Belarus. His father painted houses. His mother cared for the family. Their apartment was small, their means limited. But while money was scarce, imagination was abundant. As a boy, Ralph wasn't interested in the life he was given. He was captivated by the life he dreamed of. He idolized Hollywood icons like Cary Grant and Fred Astaire. He studied their elegance, their clothes, the way they carried themselves. These men embodied a world far from the Bronx. But Ralph dared to imagine it wasn't out of reach. Even then, Ralph understood something most people overlooked. Clothing wasn't just fabric. Clothing was identity. Clothing was transformation. At DeWitt Clinton High School, Ralph already showed signs of ambition. He told friends he wanted to be a millionaire one day, a bold dream for a boy whose family scraped by. He sold handmade ties to classmates, experimenting with fashion before ever studying it. After high school, he enrolled at Baruch College to study business, but academia couldn't capture him. After 2 years, he left, opting instead for a real-world experience. Soon after, he served briefly in the U.S. Army before returning to New York. Restless but determined, he took a job at Brooks Brothers. To most, it was just a sales job. To Ralph, it was an education. He watched customers. He studied what they bought. He noticed what was missing. In the 1960s, men's fashion was stiff, predictable. Thin ties ruled the day. Ralph imagined something entirely different. Wider ties, bolder patterns, pieces that made a statement. In 1967, Ralph Lauren borrowed $50,000 and launched his own line of neck tees. These weren't ordinary ties. They were wide, luxurious, and sophisticated. When he pitched them to Bloomingdale's, they hesitated. His designs were too bold, too different. But Ralph refused to compromise. He believed in his vision. Eventually, Bloomingdale's agreed, not only to carry his line, but to give him something no other designer had ever been given: his own in-store boutique. This wasn't just a sale. This was a statement. Ralph Lauren was no longer just a tie designer. He was building a brand. And the name he chose was deliberate: Polo. Polo wasn't about horses. It was about lifestyle. It conjured images of wealth, leisure, and refinement. Ralph wasn't simply selling fabric. He was selling aspiration. With ties as his foundation, Ralph expanded into full menswear collections. His timing was remarkable. In an era dominated by rebellion, hippies, counterculture, anti-establishment fashion, Ralph moved in the opposite direction. He championed classic elegance, reviving tailoring and tradition. His clothes didn't scream. They whispered authority, power, and timelessness. By the early 1970s, he launched womenswear. His designs gave women a balance of elegance and freedom, reflecting a cultural moment when women were demanding more space in society. And then came the polo shirt, an instant icon, a simple cotton shirt with the polo player embroidered on the chest. That logo became one of the most recognizable symbols in fashion history. Whether worn by a Harvard student, a tennis player, or a suburban dad, it meant the same thing: aspiration. Ralph Lauren understood that fashion was storytelling. He didn't just design clothes. He created moods, atmospheres, and narratives. In 1974, he designed Robert Redford's wardrobe for The Great Gatsby. The cream-colored suits, linen shirts, and timeless elegance sparked a nationwide revival of 1920s style. Just 3 years later, Ralph dressed Diane Keaton for Annie Hall. Her look, oversized jackets, vests, and wide trousers, became a cultural phenomenon. Ralph wasn't chasing trends. He was creating culture. By the 1980s, Ralph Lauren had built more than a clothing line. He had built a universe. Polo expanded into fragrances, eyewear, furniture, and even paint. He launched Ralph Lauren Home, offering Americans a chance to live within his vision of refinement. His Madison Avenue flagship was designed like a mansion, not a store. It wasn't retail. It was theater. Stepping into it was stepping into Ralph's imagination. He wasn't just selling products. He was selling a lifestyle. The 1990s brought an unexpected twist. Ralph Lauren's Polo Sport, originally designed as a luxury athletic line, caught fire in hip-hop culture. Rappers like Raekwon and Kanye West wore polo as symbols of ambition. The Low Lives, a Brooklyn crew, made polo their uniform, sometimes going extreme lengths to acquire it. To them, polo wasn't about exclusivity. It was about striving. It was about wearing your ambition on your chest. For Ralph, this was full circle. The boy from the Bronx had built a dream so powerful it returned to the very streets where he began. In 1997, Ralph Lauren took his company public. The brand expanded rapidly, but with success came risks. Licensing deals spread the polo name thin. Fast fashion brands undercut luxury. The internet transformed shopping. Critics said Ralph Lauren's fantasy world was out of step with modern reality. But Ralph endured. His strength was never in following trends. It was in timelessness. When others chased a moment, Ralph built permanence. In 2018, Ralph Lauren celebrated 50 years of polo in New York Central Park. Celebrities, designers, and icons gathered to honor a man who had transformed fashion into storytelling. Today, Ralph Lauren's empire is worth billions. But the true legacy isn't in numbers. It's in meaning. Ralph Lauren proved that style isn't about where you're from. It's about where you dream of going. From a cramped apartment in the Bronx to the most prestigious runways in the world. From selling ties out of a drawer to creating a global empire. Ralph Lauren is living proof of the American dream. Because Ralph Lauren didn't just design clothes. He designed a dream.